Cd21 Life Coaching with Base. The Sacred Council, 21 out of 32. The Guiding Force of Base. Base, the guiding force of necessities. Simplicity is the key. I am the Divana Base, one of the 17 balancing forces of universe and nature, representing the basic needs and simplicity in everything in Crystallia, the creation. Quote, "To know that enough is to have always enough." Tao Te Ching. End of quote. I play a very important part in Crystallia and in the adventure of your life. Quote, "As you simplify your life, the laws of the universe will be simpler. Solitude will not be solitude, poverty will not be poverty, nor weakness, weakness." Henry David Thoreau. End of quote. You know me very well as I represent the basic needs of your body, which you need to take care of, such as food, water, sunshine, rest, cleaning, clothing, and giving it shelter. Quote, "He who with little is well content is rich indeed as a king. And a king in his greatness is poor as the peddler when his kingdom sufficeth him not." Shekel Hakadesh. End of quote. I represent the simple gestures of greeting someone, making eye contact and sending out your genuine love and compassion to everyone you meet or think of. I give you the simple words with deep meaning and often remind you on the simple truth that lays within you, which gives you peace, contentment, and love, reminding you about Kandu, the Creator. Quote, "Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence." Max Ehrmann. End of quote. I am the simplicity and beauty you see in all things in creation, the simple unforgettable moments and the innocent humor and laughter. However, because of this within you and all around you, it also calls up the other side of being not content and wanting to dress up the simple things of life and often ending up wanting more and more. Through my existence, you will end up as well in the complexity of life and making things complicated. Quote, "Let thine occupation be few, said the sage, if thou would lead a tranquil life." Marcus Aurelius Antoninus. End of quote. You either experience a simple and content life in all its aspects or choose to complicate life by adding and adding, resulting in consequences and endless obligations. You can always simplify things from scratching things off your to-do list, your meals, your workouts, to the way of thinking. Quote, "More possessing, more possessed. Less possessing, less possessed." Mikhail Naomi. End of quote. When the complexity of life has taken you, it is all because of your own doing, but never forget, you can also reconnect with me and return to simplicity, just taking care of the basic needs of life and enjoying the simple things of life. Quote, "We should remain then within the limits imposed by our basic needs and strive with all our power not to exceed them. For once we are carried a little beyond these limits in our desire for the pleasures of this life, there is then no criterion by which to check the onward movement, since no bounds can be set to that which exceeds the necessary." Philokia. End of quote. The secret of quality living lays in the quality of the things you hear, meaningful information regarding consciousness, easy talks, and words spoken with care. It is the quality of life in organic foods which brings quality energy and life to your body. It is the time and care you put into making things with your heart and giving quality time to yourself and others. When you live with this quality, you will also leave as well almost no waste behind that cannot be recycled by nature in an easy way. Quality brings quality. Quote, one ought always to live with one's means. Try to adjust your budget and reduce your wants. There can be not end to a person's desires. One can increase one's wants as much as one likes, and one may also reduce them to the minimum. The richest person is one who has not desires. Huzur Marwaj Charan Singh Ji. End of quote. Base. Knowing me and knowing what to do with me. Let's see how you unnecessarily struggle with my force in various aspects of your life. How you could change your perspective and even make some practical changes. There are endless words that can be connected to any subject, and each subject can have many books, because each subject can be approached from various perspectives or angles. Most important is not to forget that all that is said or written is merely an opinion, a truth, but not the truth, because the spoken and written word is part of the creative world, created in opposites, constantly changing and bound to time, and there is always more that can be said or written about any subject. Regarding me and the Sacred Council members talking about any subject, know that this understanding applies to that information as well. The information is brought from our particular point of view and brought to you through the world of visionary and mystical fiction. But hopefully, it contributes to your life and assists you to experience life in a more conscious, mystical, and magical way. By hearing or reading this information, you will come to the conclusion that you know this already, and you do, because this is part of your universal and spiritual inheritance. And often, we just need one word or a sentence that inspires and motivates us to do things differently, or to think about a certain subject from a different perspective. Dealing with your real self, the soul. In regards to spiritual living, live a simple and contented life in all its aspects and do not complicate life by adding and adding, resulting in endless obligations connecting to stress. Just take care of the basic needs of life, which is already enough to take care of, and enjoy the simple things of life. Your physical body is dependent and in need of a lot of things, but the soul only needs your attention through silent prayer and meditation. The answer to get out of the complexity of a never fulfilling life is within you and achieved by that inner prayer. Quote, from the moment you came into the world of being, a ladder was placed before you that you might escape. Shamsi Tabriz, end of quote. Dealing with your mind. In regards to managing and dealing with the mind, know that the mind is like a shopping center, always keeping you wanting more and more and letting you forget that by doing so, you have to work more and have more obligations. There are very little real needs. You need some shelter, clothes, food, water, air, sunshine, and some work to provide some of these essential needs. You either experience a simple and content life in all its aspects, or choose to complicate life by adding and adding, resulting in consequences and endless obligations. You can always simplify things, from scratching things off the to-do list, your meals, your workout, to the way how you think. When the complexity of life has taken you, it is all because of your own doing, but never forget, you can also return to simplicity by just taking care of the basic needs of life and enjoying the simple things of life. To keep things simple, you need to control the mind. And to be able to do that, you need to be with your real self, the soul, the spirit. The needs of the soul are far less than the needs of the body and the endless things your mind wants. Just be in contact with it through silent prayer and meditation. Quote, simplicity is making the journey of this life with just baggage enough. Charles Dudley Warner, end of quote. Quote, when wealth in the house increases, when water fills a boat, throw them out with both hands. This is the wise thing to do. Kabir Sahib, end of quote. Dealing with your body. In regards to dealing with your physical body, know that your body has simple needs like healthy foods, fresh water, sunshine, fresh air, some action and rest. The body needs some maintenance and cleaning, and you give it some shelter and clothes, and in order to provide these things, you need some kind of work. The body is made to move till the last breath in order to provide for the simple needs, but watch out from making things too complicated. Quote, purity and simplicity are the two wings with which man soars above the earth and all temporary nature. Thomas Kempis, end of quote. Dealing with communication. In regards to communication, know that any conversation needs to be simple so both parties can benefit from it. Guard that the key point of the conversation doesn't end up in a forest of complexity. Quote, the sage does not talk. The talented ones talk, and the stupid ones argue. Kung Tingang, end of quote. Create an environment that will suit the kind of conversation you are going to have. The key of a good conversation is that a child should understand and enjoy it. Dealing with food. In regards to dealing with nutrition, are you consuming easy and simple foods, or are you consuming complex meals with lots of different and processed food items? Life has become very complex and complicated, and it looks as if you are matching it with the way you eat. Who can still eat in peace, sit down and eat just a couple of mangoes, and regarding it as having had a proper meal? It all needs to be more and more foods in one meal, and each food packed with endless other substances. You are only satisfied when you had a 3 or 4-course meal, and not to forget the drinks. Everybody complains about stress, but just think about the stress the body organs need to go through in order to digest these meals. Or do not forget all the chemicals that were sprayed on them while growing and all the preservatives within. When you cannot change the work stress around you, at least stop the stress you are causing by eating these complicated and complex meals and food items. The simpler the food, the easier it digests and the more energy you receive. In regards to drinking, it is the same. In general, you drink very little water but consume other liquids that are not water but liquid foods, and again packed with a complexity of harmful ingredients. On top, there is so much confusion what others and especially the media tells you what you all need to eat and what supplements you need to take. Everybody has the answer, but why is there still so much disease amongst you all? You need to do some research and look at what animals in nature eat. Is it a complexity of food or mainly simple foods? Quote, with all the conflicting information on diet, what makes sense? Pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, larvicides, genetically modified organisms, chemical fertilizers, microwaves, pasteurization, homogenization, hormonal injected animals, color dyes, artificial additives, and high fructose corn syrup, or raw organic, sun-ripened plant food. David Wolfe, end of quote. Dealing with staying fit. In regards to fitness, ask yourself if you are keeping your workouts simple and fun, or are you trying to do too much? When it all has become too complex, get back to the basics. Quote, "In the midst of movement and chaos, keep stillness inside of you." Deepak Chopra, end of quote. The body needs to walk, move, do some simple squats and push-ups and feel some simple stretches. The basic fitness needs for your physical body are strength, flexibility, interval, endurance, coordination, and focus. These impulses you can give to your body wherever you are, on the floor, in a chair, outdoors, in a pool, ocean, and in a gym. It is very simple. Dealing with your life partner. In regards to your relationships, know that in order to have a great relationship, that your needs are very simple. But when your mind with its endless desires comes in the game, that things can become very complicated. Everything that you want, other than the basic needs and the basic needs of a relationship, will come with an endless list of obligations. The riches of life is to be found in being content and living a simple life. Quote, simplicity doesn't mean to live in misery and poverty. You have what you need, and you don't want to have what you don't need. Huzur Maharaj Charan Singh Ji, end of quote. Dealing with your children. In regards to parenting, know that your children's needs are simple. Are you giving your children the foundation experience of leading a simple life? One of your real inheritance is the simplicity and appreciation of the simple things in life right now. Quote, remember this, that very little is needed to make a happy life. Marcus Aurelius, Antoninus, end of quote. As your parents are there to give them a base, a home, a place to sleep, food, water, and clothes. But the real base is how you are dealing with yourself, others, and the world. Be the example and give them a more wider base in learning simple tasks in the home and learning to take care about them oneself. This can range from learning about vital foods and preparation, morning stretches, proper posture, strengthening and breathing exercises, growing foods, effective communication, to learning to sit still for a moment by yourself in a corner. Dealing with preserving the planet. In regards to taking care of the planet Earth, assist in preserving its foundation. You need the soil for your food. You need fresh water. You need clean air and oxygen. You need some sunshine. You need peace. There are many ways you can help preserving nature. Keep your life simple and stop the endless taking and consuming. Quote, there is a sufficiency in the world for man's need, but not for man's greed. Mahatma Gandhi, end of quote. Dealing with the teenage years. In regards to the teenage years, the teenager mostly feels that his or her needs are not met. Realize to be content with the basic needs first: shelter, sleep, fresh water, clothes, fresh air, sunshine, and simple foods. When you financially stand on your own later in life, stay connected to the basic needs and know that wandering off into more and more will make you work more. Quote, the beautiful rests on the foundations of necessity. Ralph Waldo Emerson, end of quote. Dealing with getting older. In regards to dealing with getting older, are you still trying to want and do too much? Finally, you're at an age where you need less and do not need to do as much in the past. Enjoy the simplicity of life and keep it all simple. Quote, simplicity is the final achievement, After one has played a vast quantity of notes and more notes, it is simplicity that emerges as the crowning reward of art. Frédéric Chopin, end of quote. Dealing with stress. In regards to dealing with stress, are you making everything complicating and getting stressed out? The answer lays in simplicity, because when you move away from the necessities of life, your obligations and the stress going with them will cause more stress. Shelter, sunshine, water, healthy and simple foods, clothing, company, and a simple job to pay for it all. That's it. Quote, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Leonardo da Vinci, end of quote. Dealing with weight. In regards to dealing with weight, are you taking simple steps to let go of the weight you accumulated over years, or is it all too complex? Get back to the basics. A simple life, simple and easy to digest food, simple exercises, some fresh water, sunshine, a simple shelter, easy company, fresh air, and a simple job. Quote, the scientific truth may be put quite briefly: eat moderately, having an ordinary mixed diet, and don't worry. Robert Hutchinson, end of quote. Dealing with disease. In regards to dealing with disease, are you finally getting back to the basics? Confronted with disease helps you to hopefully appreciate the simple things of life again, and to get back to the simple needs of your body. Quote, no matter where we claim that pain comes from, how many of us consider drinking pure water as a form of pain treatment? Nina Snipper, end of quote. Dealing with emotions. In regards to dealing with emotions, are you complicating the simplicity of an emotional experience by connecting the emotion to people, places, and events? Each emotion is a simple experience, but when you connect them to people, places, and events, it all becomes very complicated. Quote, the art of simplicity is a puzzle of complexity. Doug Horton, end of quote. Dealing with business. In regards to dealing with your professional life, did you move from a basic business into a complex one and are not enjoying the adventure anymore? Create a new adventure and see how you can simplify your business on all levels. Quote, reduce the complexity of life by eliminating the needless wants of life, and the labors of life reduce themselves. Edwin Way Tail, end of quote. Dealing with destructive habits. In regards to dealing with destructive habits and addictions, be aware that a destructive habit is definitely not one of the basic needs of life. You don't need them at all. When you lose to be busy with the basic needs and lose yourself in the complexity of life, automatically all kinds of strange needs enter. For in the complexity, it is much harder to be fulfilled, and as a result, you will try to escape by all kinds of means. Return to a simple life with simple needs. Quote, you leave all habits behind by starting out with a thought, I release the need for this in my life. Wayne Dyer, end of quote. Dealing with studying. In regards to studying, stay aware that the basic idea of studying is to later make some money to provide you with the basic needs of life. Be careful for wanting a certain profession, for it is just your ego related and nothing to do with simplicity. When at times the study subject looks like a mountain, just take it a step at a time. Learn your basic skills like cleaning up after yourself and preparing healthy meals. Take the little repairs in your own hands and develop another skill. Take care of yourself when getting sick, and you may be able to help others. Exercise your body well and you might be able to help others in the future. Work in the garden with plants and vegetables. There are endless professions you can pick up during the course of life. Quote, "The evolution of knowledge is towards simplicity, not complexity." L. Ron Hubbard. End of quote. Dealing with friendships. In regards to friendships, know that the base of a good friendship is accepting each other and just being together. It is something very easy and simple. In order to secure this, you must stop looking at your differences and what you all want from each other. This kind of friendship everyone needs. Quote, "Your friend is your needs answered." Khalil Gibran. End of quote. Summary base. Base, the guiding force of necessities. Most of you are suffering from stress, which is the result of many things, but one of the most contributing factors is that you make life very complex. I am base, in charge of the balancing force of necessities, reminding you that you can experience a simple and content life in all its aspects, or choose to complicate life by adding and adding, resulting in stress and endless obligations. I remind you of how you complicate things and guiding you in simplifying your life. The summary. Your basic needs in life are very few and simple. Water, fresh air, sunshine, healthy food, shelter, clothing, and some simple work to pay for food, shelter, and clothing. The dressing up and adding to these simple needs will make you work more, add to your obligations, and create complexity. You either keep on adding to the complexity of life, or you eliminate and simplify. Nature provides most basic needs, which you contaminate and even destroy. Keep simplifying life in all its aspects. In order to stay connected to the simplicity of life, prepare yourself for the day of how you're going to approach life, others, and situations. And at the end of the day, write down your changes, how you handled things differently by having been exposed to the information regarding base. Affirmation. I am always looking for ways to simplify my life in all its aspects. Petrus.